Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to our Friday night happy hour. I am Mark, filling in as the hostess with the mostest for Lolo, who is temporarily out on assignment. Actually, 2 assignments and maybe even more. I'm not really sure. What do we do? I don't remember. I guess I toast John here. Cheers, John. Oh, he's not going to toast me without Lolo. Am I even on? I have no idea. He says 1 minute, he says to me. I think we're bringing someone on here. I'm not exactly sure. Hey, there he is.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm filling in with Lolo so much that
Twitter
I have like a
up.
beer. Yes, Coors, the state drink of Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, and it is pronounced Coors in that part of the world.
Is it?
Go ahead.
Is it?
Kurs? I think it's pronounced Coors, which is a very weird Western way of saying things. It's like saying, howdy, partner.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, partner, as the case might be.
All right, I'll be here.
Fantastic. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing today. So much to cover, and yet so little to cover. We're barely 3 weeks into the Premier League season, and we're already on a international break, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Absolutely starving for football. And it's just not there, because I'm sorry, but the matches that the international break is bringing is just not doing it for me. But there has been a lot of news that I've been reading, and I sometimes wonder if I should give a shit about it. You know, like, for instance, in the news, I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before yesterday, that it was reported that Ronaldo has scored his 900th goal. I don't think I give a shit about that. You know, here's a guy at the twilight of his career, running for the money, and I guess that's okay. But I'm sorry, but all the goals you're scoring in the Saudi League mean so little to me. And I don't care how far they are being hyped. If anybody else has something else to say in the comments, that would be fantastic. Mr. Tom says Kurs. It's Kurs. Like you're a gnarly cur. Scooby-Doo 2 is wondering if they are an Irish band. They probably are, and maybe they're the masters of the penny whistle and whatever that drum thing that they play. Lolo says he doesn't give a shit about Ronaldo's 900th goal. I do not as well. If he had scored that for Man United or Real Madrid or wherever else he had played for in life, then maybe it would have been something I gave a shit about. What else do I get? You shouldn't Spawny Rice get sent to. Okay, well that's a whole different story, and I'm sure we'll be covering that once Lolo can join us, if and when that. But I have notes. I have notes about things that I give a shit about and I don't give a shit about. Here's something to give. Yes, John?
Where'd you get those notes? Bandy?
I
remember. Yes. Bandy used to keep the notes.
Notes.
He willed them to you. Nice.
Notes. Got them written down right here in my really poor handwriting on the back of some recyclable paper, because I care about the environment and shit like that. Something that I did care about was, for the first time in 20 years, San Marino has won a match. They have gone 0-177. If you want to know how far back that was, when the last time they saw victory, George W. Bush was in office. And I think you could still fox hunt in England or in the UK. And I'm sure lots of you that attend our show have done many a fox hunt. I have not. But seriously, could you imagine going 20 years as a fan? 20 years without a single win as a national team? Surrounded by Italy, maybe even threatened by the Pope. Don't you dare win. But both times, which here's what's crazy, is both times it was against Liechtenstein or Liechtenstein. I don't know. I've never been there, so I can't even imagine how to pronounce it. But I would have to ask Mr. Tom, and if he's waiting in the wings, maybe we can bring him on and I can ask him what the odds are or what the odds were for San Marino to win that match, their first win in 20 games. There he is, Mr. Tom, looking clean shaven. I'm inspired by you because this is getting to be a bit much. I'm not sure.
You should consider it.
Yeah, I'm halfway there. But did you know?
Are you living on a prayer?
Were for San Marino to win that game?
Generally, I don't tend to look that kind of thing up beforehand because, I believe you may have said I may have missed it while I was setting up, but obviously it was their first competitive win ever.
It's their first competitive win in 20 years.
No, it's first competitive win ever. Their only other win was in a friendly, so it doesn't count.
Oh, so this wasn't a friendly?
No, this was in the UEFA Nations League.
So,
according to FIFA's rules, it's a competitive win. I mean, you're not totally wrong because it's like their first win ever because their only other win was against the same opposition in a friendly match.
Correct.
So,
and the thing that, they have supporters who have been watching them and have never seen in their lifetime. There's probably kids that are 16, 17 years old, young men who have never seen their countrymen perform to such a level to where they won a game. In fact, I think the fan base is known as the Never Any Joy Brigade. Never any joy. I'll
tell you something, Mark, about them. All their players come from, or not all, but most of their players come from Serie D, like the fourth tier of Italian football. And the third tier of Italian football has multiple leagues, so it's below non-league in as an English equivalent. Also, do you know recently they only lost 2-1 to Denmark
That was in a friendly last year, right?
Yeah, it was friendly.
Yeah, I want to say that I saw them something like that, and you were like, "Oh, they almost got one."
Yeah. Do you know there's a Twitter account that basically promotes them? It's like unimaginatively. I believe it's called San Marino Fan Account.
Right.
But it took them aboard a long time ago, and basically, whenever they play, I basically just read their Twitter account because it's not most of the time. It's basically not much is happening. Like conceded a goal. I don't even know what I'd have been wrong or what Mark had been right about. But
yeah, I have no idea. Maybe it's just it's just his mood. But I would say that I do believe that Lolo at some point today will totally change his tune where he's going to be like, Mark, you're right. But you're wrong. I'm not really sure. I want to say that this fan base should change their name, so it's so they were the Never Any Joy. They could be, only some joy every 2 decades. I'm not really sure.
Well, I'll be back in 2044 when they next.
Good on them. Hopefully, they don't have to wait. Maybe they can get as lucky as England does for their draws when it comes to qualifying for World Cup.
I suppose it does show, Mark, that in sport, and I'm very guilty of this a lot of the time, you can get a bit entitled. Not you personally. I mean,
No.
us as football fans get a bit entitled, and I'm gonna 100% dig out the Arsenal fans for this. But you know what I mean. In all seriousness, even as a Leeds fan, like I said, I think like team has a divine right to be in the Premier League, and we're talking right now on a Friday night for me in the UK, midnight, 30 minutes past midnight, talk about a team that's won 2 matches in 20 years, and that's including the one that actually started their winning streak of I believe they lost 170 matches in between. And obviously, yesterday, 2 days ago to me in England. But
I think it blows me away.
Imagine how much it means to them.
Oh, no.
They don't know where the next win's coming from.
I mean, it's like, who was it? Was it Brentford that went like 70 years or 50 years before they were promoted to the Premier League?
Yeah.
So, I can only imagine, because I did see a little bit on as far as the, there's a little deeper coverage on a Brentford rather than San Marino. But, I did kind of see the excitement of having this, formerly prestigious club, be promoted. But it was something that struck me. And guess what, everyone? I gave a shit. About that match. I didn't watch it, but I definitely gave a shit about it.
Always look out for their results. I know that sounds really shitty, because it's more the curiosity. It's like they're going to win at some point, and they did.
Yeah,
they had their night. The only thing I really feel bad about it is because obviously, I like my memes and stuff, and a lot of the memes in the communities I inhabit with the meme stuff is that Liechtenstein were cast as like this comedy villain, and I'm sitting there thinking. I'm sitting here like going, oh, they're going to win tonight, sort of thing. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, Liechtenstein have also like only won like 2 matches in like 20 years. And one of them's against Ireland, if I remember rightly.
So was like Liechtenstein the Samuel L. Jackson character in The Gentleman? Where he's just like this, or any spoofy villain that just might give away the plan and go from there. I'm not really sure about that.
Oh, Samuel Jackson in The Gentleman. I think you're talking about the 51st State.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
That's called. I know it's a different name in England to what is America, but anyway, it's besides the point. But is it the one where like he's invented a drug?
Yeah, something like that, and their heads explode or something like that.
Yeah, and Robert Carlyle was in it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's very. I felt really bad for the team that San Marino beat, because I'm sitting here like going, like I had nothing to do with it. I don't even support them, but all sport got behind them, right? The people that were aware of it, and it's like they're cast as like this comedy villain because they've made the San Marino are like the comedy underdog in the situation, but the other team are only marginally better. Imagine if you're also shit, but you're not being as shit as the other team, and everyone's sitting there going, "Oh, you don't fucking win," sort of thing. I'm like, what the fuck have I done? I just tried my best. I'll also go out there and lose 6-0 to every international team that I play.
Right. I mean, we've accused Arsenal of over celebrating in the past. I can only imagine what that celebration was like, because that's pretty much it for them, and the city is just burning to the ground in just total excitement. What else do I give a shit about? And this one I'm a little on the fence about. And that's the nominations of the Ballon d'Or came out this week. Not sure I give a shit about it, but I will say what I do care about, or what I find interesting, and maybe it's just a sign of the times, is that this is the first time in 20 years that someone by the name of Messi or Ronaldo is not on the list. And I think that is a fantastic sign of hey, we're moving into a new era of football,
I agree.
I was just told that somebody is down here who needs to come on. Why don't we go ahead and bring in whoever's kicking our door down? There he is, David. How you doing, mate?
Hello, guys. How are you? Very good.
Yeah.
Hello, David.
Do you give a shit about the
Hi,
Ballon
John.
d'Or?
Sorry, just give me a second. Sorry.
No, it's
Let me
corrupt.
check. Are Leeds United playing tonight? Because I only usually see you in Leeds play on a Friday. So am I just... My apologies. My apologies. You're right,
I
David. in all seriousness.
just got in from Washington today, so
Did you have fun?
that's not Washington upon Tyne near Newcastle, but Washington DC. But yeah, no, it's a nice little trip. All good. Great
I've learned
week last
something.
weekend. I'm not going to turn it onto the Leeds chat, but having gone to the game last week, brilliant.
Oh, we'll get
Fantastic.
to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that
definitely
later.
get to that.
But yeah, the Ballon d'Or, it's corrupt. Where was Firpo's name? Come on.
To be fair,
Well, but what do you think about the idea that it's the first time in 2 decades that someone's name of Messi or Ronaldo is not on the list?
I think
Does
it shows
does that strike you in any way whatsoever? Should I give a shit about this?
No, because it just tells me that they're turning their wheels to make their marketing magic go to someone else. Like, it's basically going to be Haaland, Mbappe. Don't get me wrong. Whenever you try and pick something 5 years, how many articles have you read, for example, David, where they try and predict the England team for the 2030 World Cup, and you end up having like 2 of the players on the list actually be at that World Cup?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a bit like that, but I think safely you are going to assume that Mbappe and Haaland are going to be in this mix for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's going to be a few others, aren't there? Like
Yeah.
Bellingham, Vinicius Jr.
Yeah.
And, it's fair to say that over the last 2 decades, we've gone through a period of football where there's been 2 greats at the top.
Yeah.
But their time, to be honest, their time was well overdue. Messi, he won it last year, but why did he win it? Because they won the World Cup. But I would still argue that it was more down to Di Maria than Messi going through that World Cup. But there you go. I mean, it is what it is.
But David, wasn't it more than just the World Cup? Didn't he win Copa America in the same calendar year?
Yeah, but it gives a shit anyway.
Well, I mean,
really,
his
that's
first one.
like
Argentina had never won the Copa during his time there, right?
The year previous, was that 2021?
I think it was the year previous, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it would have fallen outside the window of that.
Right,
he might have won it the year before for that. I don't know. I can't remember, in all truth. But my actual main thought on it, just let me get this out, David, and then say whatever you want, mate.
Just a little quick recognition for John, LUFC Garside. He's been a member with us for 6 months. Thank you very much for your support. And we certainly appreciate your comments in the thread each and every happy hour that we do this. Lolo is so much better at the reading of the comments. I'm just like, it's just moving. I can't even see myself pay attention to it.
You mean some of the comments that he puts you appreciate, or I appreciate some of them, not all of them.
Fair enough.
What I will say, Mark, is I think people are very much in. Some people get confused with. I'm not going to insult anyone, but I do think that a portion of the football community gets confused into thinking that the Ballon d'Or is a competition where they reward merit, when awards generally are an exercise in marketing the thing the awards are for. Like, it's FIFA's way of basically going, this is who we want to build football around for the foreseeable. It might be 10 years, it might not. But I think the fact that it was Messi, and don't get me wrong, Messi and Ronaldo, you'd be hard pressed to say it isn't those two on a rotational basis. But there were years where there were players that should have won it. Like, I think there was a year Lewandowski scored loads of goals and didn't get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't Modric win it one year?
No,
Yeah.
but I think he's going to win it this year.
No, I thought Luka
Modric did
Modric
win it.
win it one year.
He won it because Croatia got to the World Cup final, if I remember rightly. I could be totally wrong.
I
I
don't
think that's what.
We're
I think
talking
he did.
Rodri from Spain and from
No,
from
Modric,
Man
who
City,
used to
right?
play for Tottenham.
Real Madrid. Modric in
Yeah.
the middle.
Oh, Rodric.
Modric.
Modric, yes. Modric was the one that
18.
broke the string of
Yeah.
10 consecutive years of somebody named Chrissy or Leo.
2018 Modric, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm guessing it's because he dragged Croatia to a World Cup final.
Yeah,
but also at that time, he was fantastic at Real Madrid, and in fact, he has been for donkey's years. A couple of years after he left Spurs, just absolutely superb there.
Funny how he got better after he left Tottenham. Just must be coincidence. Must just be
Maybe.
coincidence.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take this in the direction that you boys are gonna most appreciate, and that's David, you mentioned that you were at the match against Hull City.
Yeah, against the mighty Hull City.
As far as the chatter on my end, there was a lot of doom and gloom in regards to the summer window for Leeds. Yeah, you're having this mass exodus of some really solid players. Luckily, you kept Gnonto, and you brought in who is it? I got it written down here somewhere. I got notes.
Get your notes out.
You guys signed Jaden Bogle. Or is it Bogle? I have no idea.
It's Bogle.
Manor Solomon is the one that I know. This guy Ramazani, he's 5'6", and yet his name is Largy.
Yep.
It makes no sense to me. And then you got Tanaka, and then another guy on loan, Joe Rothwell. Everyone I mentioned got time against Hull City. Two of which got starting, they got to start. Jaden Bogle and Manor Solomon, I believe, played significant amount. Plus, everybody else got 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What'd you see? What'd you like?
You know what? When you go along to any games, especially the way things are and have been at Leeds for years, there's always a little sense of intrepidation that maybe things are going to the crapper yet again. But I think at the end of the transfer window, we actually made some good signings. And you're not going to replace certain players. For me, it was sad to see Archie Gray go, obviously, because he's a homegrown boy. Chris Somerville, you're going to miss him, but I do think he's a sort of player that can be replaced. To me, Rutter was the big loss because he's such a showman and everything, and he's a lovable character. However, they made some good signings, especially very late in the window, and there was a sense of expectation, I think, in the crowd that day. People seemed up on it because they had a good result against Wednesday, good performance, and from the off, it looked special. Manor Solomon, you could see he's a level above. And the football was very good. We lost our way a little bit in the first half. And then in the second half, of course, we got the early goal. And to be honest, apart from a couple of times in the game, Hull never really threatened the goal that much. And it was a good performance. And when the other lads came on, you could see they are a level up. They are a definite level up. So I think exciting times are coming, quite frankly.
Fantastic. Tom, what are your thoughts on what you saw on what is it, last Saturday?
There's not really much I can say that's that different from David, because I'm sure, with respect to him, I'm sure we both saw the same game in context of the major talking points. But I mean, as you alluded to earlier with the transfer window, we've had a lot worse transfer windows. especially in consideration for the position we were in it at one point. Very few teams would have ever sold like 150 million pounds worth of talent, like a Bridget, whether it's factually true or not. But I think we done well to recover from the position that we were potentially in with the sale and the results that were around that time. We've recovered from it. I think potentially in future we're going to look back at that West Brom game as a key game in what is possibly going to be a good season. Because the best, don't get me wrong, obviously the best outcome would have been that we go to West Brom and win 3-0. But considering we'd sold our best attacking options, that was very unlikely to happen. So Fark went for the next best thing of we're going to a team that you are going to almost certainly see as a top 6 team at the end of the season, and just don't let them score. Which then, I could be wrong here, but I think that turned the frustration onto Carlos Corberán more than Fark, because the onus then became, why didn't you try to beat that Leeds United team that were on the ropes? Because arguably he didn't try to beat us. He and Daniel Fark should have just shook hands before the game, saved us all a lot of time, and then walked off, because that's how the game played out. And I know we're talking about a different match now, but I think in hindsight we will look back on that as a key result, because that stopped the rot of a team that had conceded 6 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
To have now not conceded any goals in 3 games. Say what you will about Rodon, like having ropey moments, but he had ropey moments that we haven't conceded from.
To be honest, the game against Hull, he's not back to his best at the moment, but he's a class player. He'll come back. You know, I mean, it is what it is. The guy that he was up against, he was a monster. He was a monster, and he just. I mean, if you're going to bash Rodon, then you're a big lad, aren't you? And he did. He did. I tell you what was very noticeable at the back. Strauch, however you wish to pronounce his name. Absolute class. Never put a foot wrong. The way he reads the game, everything very calm and assured on the ball. It was good. It was good. It's good football being played. I mean, the first half. It was exciting without making any real chances at the end, you know, in the final third. Of course, we did get the disallowed goal, but again, Hull were really well drilled defensively, really well drilled.
Right.
So they will be up there. They'll be up there come the end of the season. They'll be mixing it up for a playoff position for sure, I would think. Don't be put off because of the way they played against you. They were well drilled.
What
was nice is that we broke them down this time, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't hold anything, you know. I mean, a lot of the Leeds fan base that I follow on Facebook and on Twitter or whatever we call it, X, has just like the first 2 games were very, very rough. The Carabao Cup result was very, very rough, and it was a lot of doom and gloom and a lot of Fark out and all this, that, and the other thing. And it was just like, dude, if you're saying that this is going to be indicative of what the table is going to look like, Sheffield Wednesday is going to be promoted. And we certainly know 2 weeks later that is not the case. But my question is you know, the amount of championship matches that I get to watch is very, very limited, and I wish that they could literally go with the popularity of these teams in my house. That's what they should broadcast, just those games, and I certainly don't get to see Leeds play, and I'm very interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on. Of these new signees, who was like, who shown, who is like, yeah, I'm excited about that dude.
Solomon.
You know, Solomon. Is that it? Because
I
know Solomon. I don't know these other guys. I mean,
Ramazani as well. Ramazani, my God, is he quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He is quick.
I
Oh,
heard Solomon is the 4th fastest player in the Premier League, which probably makes him the fastest player in the Championship.
yeah. I'd
Could be
now
wrong.
like to see him. I'd now like to see him in a race against Ramazani.
Right.
You know,
I wouldn't
everybody.
like to see that because that would probably lead to tears when one or both of them get injured, and I'll be sitting there going, "Why did I force them to race each other?" Sort of thing.
Maybe. But
Right.
I'll give you an example. Ramazani, I think it was a loose pass. I don't think he got tackled. I think it was a loose pass. He lost the ball anyway, and the hole broke quickly. And Ramazani, he seemed to just eat up the ground. Must have run about 40, 50 yards and tackles the ball back. I mean, Cree Somerville was quick.
Mm.
No, he looks slow compared to this lad. This lad is frighteningly quick.
Nice.
Great touch. I mean, this was the thing about Solomon Ramazani, Tanaka. What? Their classes. They're too good for the championship. I'm saying that now.
Hey man, that's fantastic because you guys kind of found them from like lesser leagues, right? I mean, Tanaka coming from Dusseldorf, they're like a level 2 or tier 2 in
Bundesliga.
in the Bundesliga. Ramazani is in La Liga 2 from Almeria. I don't know.
Yeah.
Means
Almeria.
nothing.
Yeah.
Means nothing to me, but I do know because I did my homework because Lolo's not here to carry me over his shoulder, fireman style. God damn him having children, wife that works. I don't
Tell you
know.
what, I mean, Joe Rothwell as well. He's just a classy at that level. He's a classy player. He oozes time on the ball. What's great about him, he knows where he's going to pass the ball before it comes to him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's one touch
kind
and
of-
it's gone
he's-
again.
Forward.
He's the more seasoned veteran,
Yeah.
right? He's kind of been passed around more often than a Snoop Dogg joint.
Yeah.
You
He's going to be the guy off the bench who comes on just to steady the whole thing down
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
15,
yeah.
20 minutes. He's got his place in the team, and it's a very important place.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the football, I mean, it was slick. It was slick.
Yeah.
It reminded you of the old Bielsa days.
Oh wow.
You know?
Okay.
It's
I
good
guess
when it
I guess
works.
now I
when
gotta
it doesn't.
I guess I gotta try and find some sort of bootleg army channel that will broadcast all the Champions League or the championship.
Paramount Plus.
It's on Paramount.
But not every match.
That's
You
true.
know, or maybe I actually think when, if I'm not mistaken, Leeds played Hull City
I
at the
watched
same time slot as Wolves. Now I
Yeah.
should probably watch a better squad, but I gotta watch the Wolves.
Got to watch your own team.
Gotta watch the Wolves. We did draw against.
I do know our next game is a morning for you. It'd be morning kickoff. We played Burnley in the early game.
Any chance that I can see the ever so hunky manager of Scott Parker. I've noticed that since he is no longer in the Premier League, he's kind of dressing down. He's not as, wearing the $1 million suits and the high caliber sweaters that he normally does.
You're getting a bit caught up there, Scoops. He's over him in 5 minutes. I've seen 5 minutes in my life, and he's the best footballer I've ever seen.
Scott Parker, absolutely class man, but just he's not that great of a manager. All right, so here's the thing for you guys. The next 5 weeks, you got near the top of the table Burnley, you got near the bottom of the table Cardiff, you got Coventry City, who you did not beat last year. Norwich on the road, and then back at Sunderland, which I also want to say that was kind of tough for you guys.
That's a nasty fixture list. Those 2 games.
Yeah.
Because if I remember rightly, correct me if I got this wrong, it's Norwich away and then Sunderland away, but one's a
Correct.
Tuesday night and one,
Correct.
and then one's a Friday,
you
right?
You are 3 of 4 away, with Coventry at home, Burnley at home, but then the other 3 away. How many points you guys getting from this? You guys gonna, I don't see you getting all 15, but then I don't see you maybe losing any of these.
I'd be satisfied with conservative at worst 10 because of the nature of the away fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a dirty pairing. Because for some reason, why can't Sky put us at Sunderland at 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon? That'd be lovely. That'd be absolutely lovely. But look, so many cold nights in Stoke in the Championship, and they always make sure that they're night games. Fucking winds me up.
I think what we've got to do is also see how Sunderland come back after they've started off really well.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to be missing Clark, and we've got to see how they come back after this international break, because it does seem to have an effect sometimes on clubs. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I will not be happy if we don't get 12 or more points.
Wow. Okay. I think that might be a little ambitious. I do think that sets the bar high.
Gotta be ambitious, Mark. You just have to be. I'm not saying that because I'm not saying that out of arrogance. I mean, I'm saying it as in I wish I had the confidence to say, like David, we'll get 4 wins.
Right.
But I'm playing it more safer because that's kind of what I do. But I still think if you get 10 points out of every 5 sets of games, you'll still finish quite high. So
I think maybe because I haven't been at the game, and obviously when you watch on TV and when you at the game you see different things. And I was watching. I don't always watch where the ball is. I'll watch off the ball and things like that. And I have to say I was really impressed. And everybody knows I'm not Daniel Farke's biggest fan, but it's his team this year. He's had his pre-season. He's now got the players in. I mean, he wanted Tanaka, what was that, a year ago or 18 months ago, something like that. The only reason we didn't get him because he was injured at that time when we pulled out of that purchase. So the pressure is on him, and from what I saw the other day, I was like, yeah, I'm liking what I see. But I know there's going to be challenges. What I saw the Burnley game before I watched the Leeds game. It was on the big screen outside. Burnley got raped of their players late on in the transfer window.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think they've managed to really replace them. They've got some good players.
I think there was a number of signings, but like it was like almost
they didn't impress.
Didn't
impress what I saw.
It was almost Forest-esque, where I think they signed like 15 players at the deadline or something like that. I'm not really sure. Don't know how you integrate that many players in your squad, but one of the things that I'm hopeful for is when Leeds plays at home, they get themselves a holographic Freddie Mercury, and whenever Tanaka takes the field, you got Freddie Mercury with a hey.
Yeah,
that was good.
The fact is, he had his chant. As soon as he came on the pitch, there was a chant for him. So he's got to do something really bad not to become like a mini legend this season, I think. And he started off the right way. I think he completed more passes than Hull did on the time that he was on just him individually. He completed more passes than Hull did during that time that he was on the pitch. But he's good. He's
got a long way. He's got a long way to go, David, before he displaces Junior Firpo in my fandom. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm open. He can earn the spot. He won't. But
for you and me, Tom. There's Junior, and that's it. Everybody else is just a bit part player in this theatre.
Didn't Firpo? No.
Firpo's cross for the second goal.
Right.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So,
Outstanding.
but who was it? Was it Ramazani for Nonto? Which, speaking of which, did he get hurt?
Apparently so.
Playing with the Italians?
Yeah.
I've heard conflicting reports. I've heard a conflicting report today from, this is on YouTube, somebody knowing somebody in the club who said no, he's not injured.
Oh, okay. So it's just more of that fake news.
What I am hoping for in that, and I dig out Premier League players this all the time. I hope he's pretending he's injured, so he doesn't play in their next game, and then comes on.
Have the under 21s? Have they got another game? I imagine they probably have this period. Yeah,
they have. Do bear with me. I've got the entire list of international games. So I've been covering it for the Will Love Leeds channel. Do excuse me. So they play. On Tuesday, Italy under 21 play Norway at 5:30 p.m. in the UK.
And they had won that game really the other day.
Yeah, they won 7-0.
So I mean, you come off and preserve the player a little bit for the next game. I think that's something. You know what? This season with Leeds, just getting back onto them very quickly, is that we might not have those individual moments of flair that we had last season, especially with Rutter. But what we've got is a better rounded, higher quality with depth in the squad. That's what I feel. And when you see those players come in, I've been a Hull City defender the other day, I would have cried seeing this lot coming off the bench. You know, and I think we may see this season. I think Mr. Fark will be maybe not making his substitutions that much earlier, but he knows that he can bring the players off the bench. He's got confidence in them and everything. And I think maybe the minutes will be spread out a little bit more evenly to keep everybody honed up to a certain level. And he knows he can bring players on. I think he's got more in his grasp to be more tactical.
Yeah, that was something that as far as like last season, it seemed that Fark seemed to feel that like, well, this is what I got. This is what I got to work with.
Yeah.
And now with this new influx of players that he's and had a bit, a bit more understanding on what his team can do, is that it seems like there's going to be more. I'm hoping for a kind of a more of a stirring of the pot, so to speak. It's like, okay, I know this is when I want to add this. This is when I want to bring this person in. That sort of thing.
I think is, I think last year, could be wrong because I don't personally know Daniel Fark, but I believe he had such faith in his first 11 or his core group of players that I think he got angry when we went behind. So he'd almost delay the substitutions, as in a challenge them. Like, I'm pissed off at you. I fucking laid out the tactics on you. Fucking carry on. You fucking get us out of this shit. That's what I think it was a bit like, because I think his ultimate plan with substitutions, rightly or wrongly, wrongly in the moments where we actually needed it to not be the case, but was actually be in front in the game towards the end of the game is when he would actually waste the clock with the substitutions.
Right.
Daniel, show me some. If anyone can look at you the way Daniel Fark looks at an 88th minute substitution, then you're doing all right in life, because he loves an 88th minute substitution. he loves
It's
killing the
true.
clock for substitution.
It is very, very true. And it is a substitution that just never I have to think about it long and hard before it makes sense to me. It's like, why are you bringing someone in at the 96th or the 86th minute to play maybe 12 minutes tops? I just the guy you're substituting out can't suck it up for 12 more minutes. You have especially when it's like a 3-0 lead. And you're like, let's get this guy in. Let's make him happy. You know, we've got some contractual obligations to, we gotta make sure he plays. Maybe he's on loan. I'm not really sure, but Tom, it was a bit of a funny thing that you had just said, and it made me think. You had said that that you didn't know Daniel Farke personally, and I'm thinking to myself, I look at him, and he is not a guy that I see myself having a beer with, or wanting to have as my neighbor, or anything like that. I look at him and I just want I just want to stay as far away as possible from you. And I know this makes absolutely no sense, but when you said that, I just couldn't help but to think myself, because there are managers out there that I would want to have a pint with. And my guy is Sean Dyche. That's the guy I want to have. I want to have lots of beers with, and I want to get in a fight with him on my side. Come on, folks. I really don't know where that was going, but all the same,
it went somewhere. But no, you're right.
Sorry.
No, go on, David. Sorry, mate.
Well, I was just going to say, it only came to my mind whilst you two guys were rabbiting on about having cups of tea and beers and all that with managers, the only other thing. Well, that's it. Yeah, he has his tea and cake, doesn't he, on his sofa in the evening to celebrate. Matteo Joseph, superb. Yeah. Even when things weren't quite going his way, he is a thorn in the opponent's side, and he never stopped. And to be honest, not a lot has been said about how well he finished that goal. That was a superb effort. He was slightly ahead of the post. His run to the front post was fantastically timed. He hangs off defenders a little bit, giving himself a couple of yards space so that once he decides to make a move, he's already going, quick. Mm-hmm. That was a superb finish.
And he had the first one, right? He had the first one.
I agree, David.
The first one, Mark.
It pains me to say it as a Leeds fan, but when I tell you, we've seen that chance created multiple times in the last 5 years, and there's one man who misses that chance every single time it happens.
Let's not even bring him up.
I'm not here to dig him out. I'm not here to dig at Patrick Bamford at all. But Joseph finished first time a shot that Patrick Bamford had missed from 2 yards out multiple times, and I'm just glad it went in for once.
Yeah, I think, also as well, when Pirro came on, I think the two of them could actually play quite well together, because Joseph is a pain in the arse, if you're an opposition, and he's going to keep you very, very busy, which, of course, then if he's occupying the defence, that allows space, and I think Pirro, of course, he will exploit the space. And if he gets the ball, he's a very good finisher. I mean, that goal, Ampadu and Rodon were celebrating it as soon as he got the ball. There was no doubt in the crowd he was going to score.
Pirro is the sort of player who you want that ball to fall to. Yeah. He has missed chances. Everyone misses chances. Yeah. But generally speaking, you would rather that ball fall to him than Bamford. As horrible as that is to say. Yeah. And again, I'm not digging out Patrick Bamford, but the fact of the matter is, who's the one that routinely scores 20 goals for other teams in Championship? It's Joel Pirro. That's why we bought him.
How many goals did he get last year? He still got a load last year, didn't he? Was it 14,
I
13?
think he had like double digits.
He got a very healthy total for someone that didn't play it all.
Somewhere between 11 and 14, it was something like that.
Yeah, I wanted to say it was like 12, and you guys brought him in December, right?
No, we bought him at the beginning of the previous season.
Beginning of the previous season. Okay.
Yeah, beginning of last year we bought him. But yeah, I think earlier on in the game he had a shot and he dragged it a little bit. But even with that, it was like, yeah, no, he's done the right thing there. He's had a shot, you know? And that was something that we seemed to be scared of doing last year, was having shots.
Yeah.
You know, and already you can see a little bit of a difference. There's a bit more...
I think there's more desperation to score.
No, I think it's more confidence, is that they're going to have a go. I wouldn't say it's desperation. They're more... the players seem more confident to have a crack this year, where last year we seemed scared of losing the ball.
I think with it, why I'll say desperation is more... I think they've looked at Ipswich last year and felt like a lot of Ipswich's games were won because you can't win the lottery unless you buy a ticket. So we're buying a fucking lot of tickets.
Yeah. If you don't shoot, you're never going to score.
Last season, we were trying I know it's like the IT crowd and all that, make joke all the time. Oh, Arsenal just want to walk the ball into the net. I feel last year there was an element that Jorginho, Ruter and Somerville wanted to score a goal, rightly or wrongly, where they did like a 26 pass move between the two of them of 1-2s, and then one of them like spin back heels the ball into the goal. The difference is, I'd like Jorginho Ruter to have scored a goal where he just shot it like a normal human being and went in, because he weren't fucking very much cop at that, in all fairness to him. And yeah, I am throwing him under the bus because he broke my heart when he left, because he still could have turned around and said, I don't care that they activated a release clause. I want to play for this club. Man, in reality, do I think he was right to go? Of course he was, because he has a responsibility to his family to make as much money as he can in the space of time that he's a professional footballer. But for me personally, I think your development would have been served a lot better playing first-team football at Leeds United. But that might be our game. We'll find out come May. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a question that I have during this whole like transfer process and in the windows and all. Is that, obviously there's built into a contract of the release clause. And if that release clause is met, does that mean that you are obligated to go?
No. The player has to say yes. The player can say no, and it means basically, essentially, you are basically then the club can't stop you. And that's the only real thing. Okay. The player then can say, I want to go, and the club can't say, no, you can't, because they've agreed to a specific number, and if that number is met, that's it.
Right. It has always kind of struck me as odd as far as how negotiations in football or soccer goes compared to American sports, where the club is just like, yeah, fuck you, goodbye. And you see players like in the clubhouse when they're notified sometimes during matches, our games, you're not coming in because you've been traded. You're going to Toledo, the Toledo Mud Hens, and you just see them just like start crying and it's very, very ruthless here in the States, and it seems a little bit more civilized overseas, where it's just it's a little more of an agreement, and of course I'm wrong.
That was like Lolo when we told him this week you're not on the show. He started crying.
Can I just say, Mark, it's not like that at all. Trust me, if the club wants to sell you, you're going. I mean, you look at Conor Gallagher at Chelsea. He didn't want to go. Chelsea got shot. What they do, the clubs are ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And they will sideline players and everything, and they will make it intolerable for that player to remain there if that player tries to dig their heels in.
Hello, Lawrence.
Okay.
So it's very, very cutthroat. Don't think that the clubs are nice to players. This is the thing which I think a lot of fans, I think, don't really appreciate, is that clubs are ruthless. Most of the time, the clubs are ruthless. As soon as they're done with your services, that's
Well,
it.
that's quite a story, BX.
Yeah.
Um,
Sadly,
no.
it seems to run the opposite in some cases, as I've,
Did you
have
hear
been
about this, David and Mark? A guy,
What's that?
there's a kid from Leon who basically he was on loan at Leon last season. So Leon made it a permanent transfer in the summer. So Leon have paid money to make this loan permanent. And then a month later or so, might have even been weeks later, I don't know the numbers. They then basically accepted an offer from Fulham. And the kid turned up at Fulham, got really upset at the medical, and basically disappeared. And no one's seen him since.
Oh my God.
He was that upset because he didn't want to leave Leon.
Yeah.
The strangest part is the fact that why are you shipping off a player you've literally just paid to buy?
Because they're going to make more money on him.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
and that's what I mean about clubs are cutthroat. If they can make a buck on them, there's a lot more power now to the players that they never had before. And when you listen to some of the stories of previous pros like Ian Wright and people like that getting forced out of clubs, trust me, I mean, Ferguson was, there's your shining example, isn't it? You 1 minute you'd be a hero at the theatre of screams, and then the next minute you were gone.
Theater of screams. That doesn't sound fun. I don't want to go there.
The fear of having a boot thrown in your face if you're David Beckham.
The theater of barbed wire and acid milkshakes. I don't want to go there either.
I still remember the story. Like, Ian Wright is a great storyteller, to be fair to him. No idea if any of these are true, but I've no real reason to believe this one is not. He told a story of how the moment he knew his days were numbered at Arsenal. And it was mainly because Arsene Wenger came in, and everyone knows he changed the culture of Arsenal Football Club for the better, some would say. But obviously they still had a drinking culture where basically Ian Wright, as long as he was scoring goals, he could behave how he wanted. I get the impression he wasn't particularly rude or anything to anyone, but he definitely took a scooter into the training complex. One of them, not motorized, but like, he was a scooter, like child scooter, I'm guessing it was. And basically he was doing it like as a square or circle or whatever. But anyway, and he crashed the scooter into the one person he didn't want to crash this scooter into. He crashed it into Arsene Wenger, to which Arsene Wenger picked himself up and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Gaffer," and all that. And he went, "Ian, you really shouldn't be riding a scooter around the training complex." And that's when Ian Wright knew he was going to get sold at the earliest opportunity. So he was like, he's betrayed the professionalism of the club. That Wenger was trying to instill.
Right on.
I think also it was known that Wrighty wasn't the best trainer, shall we say?
Yes,
fair enough.
That was from the mouth of Ian Wright in a. Sorry.
I only know Ian Wright from like being a commentator. I don't know much after that.
He was a great player, Mark.
I'm sure he was, and I look forward to many years of watching really great football, so that when I lose my mental capacity and I look back fondly upon the folks that are playing now, and I'm sure I'll shout out at some point as I'm getting my medication. Verbo! I don't know.
When did you say when?
Yeah.
When?
When? Now, y'all know I have trouble with words. Words are hard. But anyway, folks, we are approaching our 1 hour mark, and it's time for this old guy to have a little bio break. When we come back, we will have betting in the dark with Mr. Tom. Maybe we'll talk about this phantom signing of Mauricio Pochettino for the U.S. men's national team, which I actually don't think is going to happen. And then perhaps if Lolo comes on, that you can watch him and I argue about whether or not the sending off of Declan Rice was warranted.
Which it was, by the way.
We're going to save that for the next hour, and I'm sure it will get heated as all things Arsenal and Mackenzie's. That's me. Tend to be. So, Director John, I'm going to let you choose whatever the bio break you want to throw. You want to do pay the money, that'd be great. If you want to do the Bandy show clip, that'd be great. Whatever you choose. But in the meantime, grab yourselves another beverage, relieve yourself, grab yourself a little snack, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
And I'm going to bring in a special guest. He's pissed off at Leeds United, but the motherfucker is rocking his kit and his on the stoop hat. Bandy Fornowski.
Bandy, go easy.
All right, man. I hope you guys are all right.
No, go for
We're
it.
here on a Friday night. We're here with the Stoop crew. This makes me happy. This reinvigorates me.
Well, I'm here drinking rum because, listen, the amount of arguments I've had with Leeds fans this week, and it's all been about this Jesse Marsch. That man, I mean, my God, I ask my wife, she's got more sense than this man. The things that he has come out with, he is tying the players' hands behind their backs, right? So I have notes because I lose my train of thought so easily. Another thing, that was it.
Lost your train of thought already.
Sorry?
Go on, Bandy.
Very easily. So this is a man that likes to talk. Anybody that will listen to him, Sky Sports, Talk Sports, BT Sports, anybody that will listen to him, and we've heard him say on many occasions that he wants more aggression from the players.
It's like any teams at the halfway line before we even engage in closing them down.
Listen, Ben, right? You remember when we lost Bielsa and Marsch came in, and the Stoop had a show and invited a few of us on to talk about our feelings. What did I say? I said, well, the onlyest thing, because I was so upset to lose Bielsa, I said the only thing really is that Marsch may come in and play two centre forwards and be aggressive in that way. But we've not seen that. We don't get over the halfway line. He was so glad to come to Leeds, right? He's so glad because he could have gone anywhere else. So many different jobs he could have had. He said he could have been the USA national team coach. What a prune-faced punk rocker. What a prune-faced punk rocker. You can put whatever you like aside, Ben. I will not.
No, I get that.
No, Ben. The man talk a good fight. I'm thinking to myself, is there something wrong with me? I'm watching the games and I can see the flaws, and yet I don't hear no noise from the fans. Is there something wrong with me? And I'm saying, what foolishness is this? Listen to this, right? Look, there's an apple tree, right? The best apples are at the top. Now, you can get a stick and throw the stick at the apples at the bottom, or you can climb to try and get the apples that you could reach. But they all got maggots in them. They're rubbish. The best apples are at the top.
Set your goal higher, yeah.
The best apples are at the top. As you said, Ben, you set your goals higher. So you might not get the apples at the top, but you're going to get something. you're going to get something better than the maggoty ones at the bottom.
Hold on, Bundy.
I'm
do
sorry.
Do you have notes?
Yes.
He's like, next slide, please. Next slide.
Exactly. People were saying
for about 150 an hour, my wife can put that into a PowerPoint.
Bandy.
Exactly. My wife can do that too. That's what she does. Now,
because we wouldn't pay the money.
Because we didn't pay the money.
Ben. Yes, Ben. We wouldn't pay the kiss me ass money. Right? Yes, Lolo, you have to write something for that. Pay the kiss me ass money. Right? And that's what happened. You can't blame Bielsa for that.
Well, all right. That is something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my days. Is when people ask me why I didn't do something, I will say, "You didn't pay me the kiss my ass money." You know, and I know that, and every time I see that clip, I say the same thing to myself, and it cracks me up. And everyone says that I'm getting it wrong, but you know what? I'm going to take my misunderstanding of the phrase and run with it. But to where he says what I think is prune face punk rocker, I absolutely love that. Absolutely fucking love that. Anyway, welcome back to the second half, or the second half of On the Stoop with Lolo. I am not Lolo. I'm just little old me trying to run this show the best I can. I'm baffled on what might be coming up on Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom, as there is nothing of interest for me to bet on. So I'm going to rely on Tom here. But before we do that, I want to know, is that Psycho Sid in the cup?
It's exactly Psycho Sid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that is.
Who's deceased.
Yes, he did. He did leave us, as did Sergio Mendes as of yesterday. And then wasn't there like some worthwhile and beloved footballer in the last week? I think he played
Saul
Bola.
Saul Bamba.
Saul Bamba. There seemed to be, while I had never heard of him before, there seemed to be a lot of different channels, Leeds, Wolves, this, that, and the other thing, all paying tribute, and it was all very touching because that's something that I really love. And to say that I love it is maybe it's not the best way to phrase it, but you know, you don't see like the tributes that English football and football in general pay to not only players and managers, but equipment managers and fans, you know. And it's really touching how everybody just kind of like rallies around. It's like, oh, we had this person haven't missed a game in 20 years and they passed, and so we're going to have a moment of silence for them, you know. But anyway,
that no one hated,
yeah,
no opposition hate, because it's very rare, and I know this will sound like hyperbolic, but it's very rare. Like, for example, if something happened to Harvey Barnes or Ashley Barnes, touch wood that it doesn't, don't hate him, but he's the sort of player that if I then sat here and went, no one hated Ashley Barnes, I'd be lying, because a lot of people do fucking hate Ashley Barnes. Whereas
he's got the sort of face you want to slap.
Exactly. It's the sort of face only a mother can love. But in all seriousness, but Sol Bamba was a player. He played hard, played fair. No one never did anything that everyone's like, oh, fucking hate that guy. It was the sort of guy you wanted on your team.
Fair enough. But so here in America, we have a organization that is for like terminally ill kids or disadvantaged kids, and it's called it's the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something like that in over there?
No, I know.
Or is it just called the Make-A-Wish Foundation UK?
Yeah, I believe there'd be an English variation of it.
Isn't it the Arsenal support group?
Probably. Oh, but I gotta tell you, I mean, just like Ashley and Harvey Barnes both just look like two people that just reached out to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and said, "I really want to play football." Kind of like Eli Manning for the New York Giants.
They are good footballers. Like, in all seriousness, I don't really wish them harm. That was not my point. No. My point was obviously more the fact that if I then started talking about how Ashley Barnes was a great lad, he was a great human being and stuff, I'd be lying, because I've wanted to punch him in the face multiple times when watching him in a football match against my club.
And why do we say that? Why do we say that? We say that because actually he's a real pain in the arse. When he was at his best, he was a handful. He was a pain in the arse, and he's always moaning. He's got that snarl to him, and so it's a face you want to smack. Although he'd probably smack you back, and that's the problem.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's the way I feel about Antonio Ruger. I fucking hate Rudiger. Absolutely hate him.
You're not the only one.
But I would take him on Wolves in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of guy I want on my squad. I want that no nonsense. Fuck you. I'm gonna hurt you, and come what may. But I'm gonna do it in such a crafty way, as Mr. Tom would say, the dark arts. Anyway, speaking of Mr. Tom, let's kick off betting in the dark with that handsome fellow sitting next to Psycho Sid.
Betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Come on, love, place your bets.
Sorry, at first I thought you were saying, I thought you were talking about Cyril, but makes sense. Now, in all seriousness,
I haven't had a pint with Cyril yet, so I'm not really sure about his ins and outs there.
I wouldn't advise it. He gets a bit rowdy if he has a sherry or something, and by that I mean a pint of sherry. Anyway, I've gone a bit left field. Obviously, slim pickings for the international break, because there's not really a lot of money to be made on the international break, because, it's basically, I think Portugal are going to beat Slovenia 7-0 or something like that. And even then, you'd probably win about £4, unless you picked Cristiano Ronaldo to get all 7 of them or something like that. But if you would not mind, Director John, who kindly put it together, we're going into League One. Wrexham, can you actually do League One on FanDuel?
With these, obviously Wrexham is a high-profile squad, regardless of where they sit in whatever league, because there's so much money being pumped behind them, and they're the darlings of Hulu, and they're owned by God knows, Deadpool and whatever the guy's name.
The other one, yeah.
By Ryan Reynolds and the guy. That guy. It's kind of like when Pep was like the Korean guy. It's like the guy from the show.
Yeah, but Rob McElhenney's not likely to score a goal against you, whereas saying that to a guy that could actually score a goal against you was a rare misstep from Pep, in my opinion. Why are you providing additional motivation to the Korean guy who can actually beat your team?
It was a good feeling.
Very naive, and Pep should have known that even before he learned that lesson. Know the names of their players. Anyway, I've got Jack Marriott to score first. Ollie Palmer, who ironically played a bartender in Deadpool 3, because apparently it pays to know Ryan Reynolds. And a lot of people basically like, why have you gone to Wrexham instead of to like a club that can pay you more money or something? It's like, they talk about the projects and like the opportunities. Like, just say you want to meet an actor and possibly become his mate. Just say that. Just I know it's one of my bugbears. It's like just tell the truth. You wanted to meet Deadpool. There's no shame in it. You're still gonna get $6,000 a week or whatever. like whatever you'll get more than the going rate in League One. They're very generous down in Wrexham, apparently.
Right.
So people have said. But yeah, and the reason I've not picked Paul Mullin is because I wanted us to pay slightly more than next to nothing. Because it doesn't earn any money if you pick Paul Mullin. I tried. When you're ready to move on. Sorry,
Tom, can I just ask a question? It's not actually on the betting, but it is to do with League One. Have you any idea why there's so many games that are postponed? Is it because of the international break?
Yes, that's exactly right.
It is that.
Because most of the teams tend to have like one player picked or something like that, which is grounds to have the game postponed.
Paying for some.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I only know that because I was at work and I had the Sky Sports News on, and it came up randomly like Leyton Orient versus whoever they were meant to be playing postponed due to international call-ups. Now, I can't imagine Leyton Orient or their opposition each have 5 players picked. So I'm surmising that even if they have 1 or 2, that gets the game called off. I could be totally wrong. It's just my guess, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you would not mind, Director John, going on to the next one. And this is more for Director John than anything, because I know he loves using this particular, what would you call it? The Photoshop and all that, to add Swindon Town, the musical. Anyway, and yeah, I've done Swindon to win 2. They're not favourites for this game, but I've got faith in I've got my faith for our favourite musical, John. And and I picked Paul Glatzel to score first because he's the only one I recognised, more based off him scoring against Leeds, I believe, in the first game after lockdown for Cardiff. So I know he's got it in him to score, because he'll score when he fucking don't want him to.
Hey, look, it's Lolo.
Yo.
Lolo.
What's up, fellas?
Get your FanDuel out or whatever you use. We're betting on Swindon Town the musical.
Swindon Town the musical. Let's do it.
With music done by XTC.
And Dominic Telford does actually play for Barrow. But his favourite score, so I just went, we'll add him to it. And finally, if you don't mind, Director John, lovely jubbly, England will win 3-1. I'm being very generous, Bono, giving you a goal. But Saka's going to score first. No idea who Saka is. But Saka will score first. And Bowen will score at some point. Because, again, there's no money in picking Harry Kane. None at all. Unless you pick him score 3. None. Hello, Brownie. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah.
Who's managing Republic of Ireland now, Tom?
I have no idea.
I have no idea, because I know they sacked the guy, and I imagine Ireland's not the what's the word? I imagine they're not the most sought after football club to manage. Ireland football team.
Have a look. Let's find it.
Head coach is currently Heimer Helmargrisson.
Oh my God! Never heard of him.
He's managed to,
first time. Okay.
Tell a lie. He has managed. He managed the Ireland. He managed the Iceland team that beat England at Euro 2016.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
To which he then spent 3 years in international retirement with Al Harabi, where he presumably made a shitload of money before then deciding I fancy being a Jamaican manager. Pardon my language. He also managed the women's team in Iceland, of course. Anyway, actually, I can't know what I'm talking about with the Ireland manager.
Is that game? When is that game on?
It's at 5 p.m. Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. On ITV in England, because they finally got the international football off Channel 4. To our American compadres, that's a fairly big deal.
That's something to watch tomorrow. Great.
Did you put together odds for the U.S. Canada match at all?
I didn't.
Damn
but I can do right now. What would you want?
Jesse Marsh to have his pants pulled down on the pitch and be beaten 72-4, just cause.
I'm more upset myself that I actually got up the app that I use to calculate all this, thinking I was going to get a serious question. Then you're like, Jesse Marsh. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, wasting my time. Pardon my language. Sorry.
Didn't Marsh's lot beat your lot in some recent game?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I don't even think that that Pochettino is going to be the answer for us. I think the timing is terribly wrong. We're already qualified for the World Cup. I mean, we're going to make an appearance. People are going to see our players. They're going to see what we do. And it just doesn't.
You don't qualify, do you? You are a host. That's it.
You qualify.
No. As a host, we qualify.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Three of you do.
I mean, we don't qualify for.
It's a free pass, isn't it?
We don't qualify for the obviously beyond the elimination rounds, but we definitely qualify for the World Cup, which it's hit or miss for.
What I find interesting about it, obviously you're going to get more countries in it that either usually don't qualify or are usually just off the cusp of qualifying but would not qualify. They'd lose the playoffs. It generally opened up. But I think obviously compared to the last World Cup, which feels really weird because it's only actually about 16 months ago. But I'm wrong with it. No, I don't know why I said that. Canada, Mexico, United States men's national team, obviously were the qualifiers. So you getting the virtue of the host spots, let's just say, has opened it up for a lot of teams that will actually really fancy their chances of qualifying.
Right.
In fact, Jamaica fancy their chances so much they're actually going to try an experiment where they actively hire Steve McLaren to be their manager to try and not qualify. They are that certain that they should qualify. They're actually going to try to lose matches with Steve McLaren.
Greenwood has Greenwood now gone to Jamaica? Is that right?
It's but he should be going to prison anyway. Sorry, what?
I know, but yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah. It is Jamaica, isn't it?
He was absolved. He faced the investigation and wasn't proven guilty.
Although we are in a society where you are innocent until proven guilty, we've all seen the video and the pictures, and I think it does prove to an extent that just because you weren't found guilty doesn't mean you didn't do it.
No, I guess I did not see the pictures because I didn't want to participate in that. I didn't think it was my place to see them, but maybe I'm putting on the blinders. I don't really know.
I agree with
but
you.
He was accused and was found not guilty, I guess. I don't know. All to win parlay without correct scores.
He wasn't found not guilty, was he? He just wasn't taken to court over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't condone that sort of behavior, by the way, everyone.
Yeah. Not to get super serious over it.
I also believe in due process, and if there must be a reason why he was not found.
Unfortunately,
she withdrew her complaint. That's why.
Yeah, because I presume, again, not speaking for her, but I presume her and her family took one look at this and was like, you probably stand to actually make more money in life if you don't proceed with this.
No, but she's with him now. She's back with him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, it's one of those situations,
I
isn't it?
cannot wrap my head around.
No.
But the cycle is real. All right, Tom. Mr. Tom. Last one here.
Well, as I started the trend of doing so, just got the combination of the 3 picks to win, no correct score, just to win outright. Swindon Town the Musical being an outsider at Barrow basically means you can actually net quite the profit. Not the profit of like when you include Ipswich to beat Manchester City and things like that. Like that is life-changing sums of money. This ain't changing anyone's life, but it will change your Saturday night if it did win, because then you'd be like, well, I can get a Chinese or something. Like you get put an egg fried rice on top of what you'd normally get, or get yourself some chicken balls or something. But you ain't calling in work on Monday just because Wrexham, Swindon Town Musical, and England won. Like, unfortunately, sorry, David. You ain't calling in the airport and being like, sorry, I did really well on betting on the dark. Betting in the dark. I don't know the name of my own segment.
I'm not working in first now. I'm travelling in it. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Is it? No.
I'm a self-made billionaire from betting in the dark.
Yeah.
But I just like Director John putting the Swindon Town Musical thing.
Hey, I still want to reach out to oh shit, what is his name? Not Terry, but who's the other Andrew Partridge from XTC, and just reach out to him with this like fictional script of, we want to do Swindon Town the Musical, and we want you to contribute the music of XTC to all this.
Because 2 out of 3. But obviously, Swindon is the one that you bit.
Can I just like to? Can I just thank Tom for these bets, because I've been a bit remiss of me, because normally I'm quite good on all the different divisions and tiers and everything, but you've opened my eyes. I never realised that Barrow were back in the Football League.
Yeah,
and I didn't realise how bad Swindon had become.
Yeah.
You know, it's a long day since Glenn Hoddle was the manager there, taking them up to the top flight. And I can remember seeing Barrow upon Furness, to give them the correct name, against Scunthorpe in the days when Kevin Keegan played for Scunthorpe. That's how old I am. How frightening is that?
I'll tell you this, David. Barrow, when they first got promoted, I could be wrong, it would have been the season we got promoted to the Premier League. They got promoted from the conference. I believe that's the case. It might be a year out. But they were managed by Ian Evett, who now manages Bolton. But he had them playing Beelzebub in what would you call it, National League Conference now. But they played it so well that they would unofficially termed Barrow-Salona, which brilliant. I thought was quite enjoyable.
That's brilliant.
It was clever.
It's so brilliant because the only thing it's got in common with Barcelona is that it's got a coastline. Because otherwise, Barrow is a shithole, isn't it? Jesus. Oh man.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I will be able to have a couple of months to spend in England and find that out for myself.
Don't
anyway, that was Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom. And we forgot our little disclaimer is that you take these bets at your own risk. And seriously, no one should ever take us seriously. Especially when it comes to your hard-earned cash. All right, so with about a half an hour to go in our show, and maybe just a little bit of stoppage time,
Holker Street, their stadium is called.
It is time to maybe talk about the elephant in the room. We had it on our thumbnail. Maybe you're all here to hear about it. But that is all this brew about Declan Rice getting sent off in a early season match against Brighton. You know, I'm going to start this off, and why not? And I've had I've let the smoke clear and have really put on a lot of thought into this. And I'm not being, this is not my hot take. This is not me being a Arsenal troll or an Arsenal hater, but it's just how I see it. And that's that Declan Rice got exactly what he deserved. Now, if we want to look at the very basis of it, the actual facts, things that we can see from what happened, Declan Rice knew exactly what he was doing prior to what he did, which was act like a child, which was to show petulance, and to do something that was quite uncaptain-like of someone who was already on a yellow. If my memory serves me correct, and I've watched the video a number of times, Declan Rice looks back at the player who is trying to put the ball into play and kicks the ball out. He prevents a quick start to the match, from a free kick perspective. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he got caught. Now, a lot of the chatter that I hear from Arsenal fans is that should never happen. That should never happen because Brighton got away with it. And then the next day when they're watching the weeks or the weekend matches, oh, this player got away with it, and this player got away with it, and this player got away with it. You know what I hear? I hear Arsenal fans acting childish, because what I'm hearing is a little 6-year-old kid saying, well, everyone else in the neighborhood is doing it. Why can't I? And I know that that's an easy sell, or it's easy for me to say, but here's really where I want to get to it. Arsenal has aspirations to win the league. And if they want to win the league, they can't do shit like that. They can't act that way. They do have to hold themselves higher than the referee and higher to the league. Because if they do shit like that, they're going to get caught. They're going to get the yellow card, and in this case, a second yellow for Declan Rice, sending him off. And that's another thing that pisses me off is everyone's like, oh, Declan Rice got a red. No, he got 2 yellows. That's what happened. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he didn't get away with it. And if you want to be champs, you can't do that, and it really fucking jeopardizes you because you got the North London Derby coming up next week. And you know what, Declan, if I'm an Arsenal fan and they're one of my mistresses, I'm going to say it right now. You're the captain. You have to know that you're on a yellow card and you run a risk of being sent off by that action. And if anything, that's what pisses me off the most. So, gentlemen, take it away. Lolo, if you're out there listening, get your ass on here. I want to hear your 2 cents worth. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I am wrong.
Tom, go ahead. I'll let you start off, mate.
You're wrong.
Oh, no.
You're wrong. You're right, but you're wrong.
My initial thought when I first saw it, in all truth, I will say, I thought, well, that's a bit harsh. He's knocked him over, and he's got kicked from behind. And I thought, oh, it's a bit of 6 and 1, half a dozen of the other. I thought it was a bit harsh. Like, why have you sent him off for being kicked in the back of the leg? Only then when I actually paid attention to it, and I thought, well, he's literally knocked the ball out. It may only just be a touch, but he's knocked the ball out of play, which is a yellow card generally when you're caught doing it.
From a free kick?
Absolutely. I can't prove this, but it feels like he did it knowing he was going to get kicked. I can't prove that because I can't prove that he's seen him coming. But it feels like he did it, and that was a bonus of it, as in he took the hit and then was a bit like, oh, wait, you're sending me off. What the fuck kind of thing. But I don't care nearly enough about it to have an argument with an Arsenal fan. Like, if they go, it's not a red card, I'll go, that's fine. I mean, I believe it probably is 2 yellows. Like, I don't know what the first yellow was for, because I know Scooby's asked it a couple of times. I couldn't tell you, because that would imply that I actually watched it. I've only seen the actual incident that has created the debate.
Right.
But I did see the first incident, but I can't remember what it was. But I think it was just like a late challenge or something like that. But it was a yellow. It was a intentional trip or something like that. It was a yellow. And then it actually is I think it's quite funny, actually, the whole incident, because there's no doubt that Rice intentionally just knocked the ball to the side so that free kick couldn't be taken.
The minute he looks behind his shoulder.
Oh, he doesn't even look. He knows the ball. The guy, Veltman, gets up, rolls the ball forward, and it just touches Declan Rice's heel.
Yeah.
So he knows the ball's there, and he just flicks it, knowing that will stop play, basically, or stop play from being restarted, should I say. But the thing is, Veltman, I believe he wasn't going to take a quick free kick. But I think he knew that as soon as that ball hit Rice's heel, he was aware that Rice would knock the ball away. So he quickly swung his leg as though he was going to take a quick free kick. I think he was that quick in thought, knowing that would get Rice booked, and he could also clatter him at the same time.
Absolutely, sure, why not? But my point on the matter is not necessarily the collection of events. It was that we have a team that has a goal, and we have a player that is a captain, and the action was detrimental to their goal.
Well,
this is a team that you're going to be looked at and you're going to be scrutinized. And you know what? You want to win? You can't do shit like that. And I'm not saying like I'm not looking at the idea of the officiating, because all I hear is children screaming, Billy did it down the road. Why can't I? Johnny did it too. Why can't I? And it's just like, no, that argument doesn't work. As far as the whole grasp of consistency, yes, we all want consistency in refereeing, but don't give the ref reason to pull out that card.
Mark, if Director John could just do me a favour and put up Scooby D2's comment. It's a great comment, because I know.
Is that the one about the City player?
The one about City player. The reason I think this is a great comment, because it highlights. I could be wrong, but I believe it is asked with the intention of the emotional reaction of City are favoured, and the City player doesn't get a second yellow for that. But I actually think the better question is, would a City player be stupid or arrogant enough to actually do that when they're already on a yellow?
Yes.
And they're not. What they're really good at.
That's what I'm getting. That's one of the things that I'm getting at.
Exactly what you're getting at. But what Man City are absolutely amazing at is they are great at taking a tactical yellow. The masters at it. Tactical yellow, they call it. Fernandinho was absolute king of them. Like I remember when he took out Rafinha when we were charging down on goal. One of the rare times we had the ball during that game in that second half. But and my point is more the fact of they are really good at doing it. They are not stupid enough doing it already on a card. They never do it. They never get a second yellow because they don't do anything to bring that on when they've got a yellow.
And why is that? The reason why that is because they know that Pep would sit them asses down and they would lose their spot. They would, he's that person. He's like, no, fuck you. I can put anybody in here and they'll do what I want and it will work. And that's how it will be, and I'm sorry, folks, but Declan Rice should have had the realization as a captain, your leader, to know that I run the risk. I can't do that. And not only did he lose, he missed valuable time against Brighton, he will be out of the North London Derby, which will be at London Stadium, if I'm not mistaken.
I just want to say something on Scooby's attestation that it wasn't a yellow. He committed an unnecessary foul. He then went and kicked the ball away. It's a yellow. It's a yellow
all fucking day.
If a Leeds player did it,
I've
it's
got
a yellow.
chokitis. I'm just becoming an Arsenal fan and an Arsenal team. Jesus Christ.
If a Leeds player, I would be annoyed at a Leeds player. If a Leeds player kicked the ball out like that and took a yellow, I'm annoyed that Dan James ran into the crowd after he scored because those yellow cards we are accumulating for celebrations because the emotion has taken over. And I know it's a really harmless thing, but there's going to come a time where that becomes a fifth yellow card and we lose Dan James for a match. All because he jumped in the crowd 4 times or whatever. And that's going to be really silly.
Yeah. Don't worry, Tom. We've got Ramazani now. We're all right.
All right. Fine. Thank you for assuaging my concerns. But in all seriousness, I'm just like, but I'm sure you know what I'm really getting at is like, just avoidable yellow card.
I think Lolo's charges right now are like holding him back because he's like fighting to try and get in front of the computer and throwing his 2 cents.
I don't think he is, Mark. I think he knows he just get absolutely hammered by us because you can't argue against that. The fact is, he knocked the ball away, and it's a yellow card.
Oh, there he is.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Hey.
I will say, like not this time last week, the match hadn't happened, but 6 days ago, I saw Gary's show. I saw it for the first time. I thought, yeah, that looks a bit harsh. Then I watched it again and actually paid attention to it, and I was like, yeah, he's kicked the ball away. It's yellow card. Lords of the game. It's yellow card. And I talk about consistency. The referee consistently applied the laws of the game in that situation.
Yeah.
And I've heard people go, what about when the Brighton player did it half hour before? I was like, I haven't seen the Brighton player do it half hour before.
Yeah, he did kick it away.
I mean, the Brighton play, I think, was it was a very, very different circumstance. The ball went out of bounds. He was charging it, makes contact with the ball.
That was a yellow as well, Mark.
In this particular case, in the case of Rice, Rice looks back at the player, turns his head and kicks the ball.
This is a bad time for me to join this conversation because fuck all of you. You're all wrong.
Wow. Okay, folks. Well,
there you go.
I guess there we have it. The definitive answer from Arsenal. I wish that Stan the Man was here. I wish that Gary was here. I wish that Lonnie was here to hear them say "fuck you all, motherfuckers." But again, with
you really want that. You really want all of those Arsenal?
Brownie says Rice knew what he was doing.
I think he's getting a bit confident, John.
All I need to hear is that he knew, and he did know, and he is the Arsenal captain, and you cannot when you're already on a yellow, you can't jeopardize the points on the team.
Mark,
My point, Mark, is the fact he committed a foul and then he's compounded it by knocking the ball away. It's stupidity of the highest degree.
Yeah, it was most certainly petulant.
My favourite bit of it all is that we're talking about it. I don't really care if we come to the consensus that it's not a yellow or not a second yellow or not a red or whatever. I don't care because part of my timekeeping, but about 2 hours later, Leeds United won. That's all I really care about.
And there you have it.
Absolutely, James. Absolutely. Cheers.
Is what it is. Just
Lolo.
But admittedly, I did think it was harsh when I first saw it, so I can't.
Fair. And I think a lot of us did. But at this point, Lolo, I would like to yield the floor to you, where there will be no argument, will there be no counter question. I want myself on mute. Your 5-minute tirade, a silent or a quiet tirade on how you feel about Declan Rice and his sending off.
Well, I mean, to me, the biggest thing is you can say letter of the law all you want. You can say he knew what he was doing. He knows this is all you want. But in the end, what we're doing is giving the referee an opportunity to do something or don't do something. So in the end, it is a choice from the referee to do something or not do something. And we have heard in the past that we don't want referees to influence the game by making these choices. And that to me was such an inconsequential moment. He's not kicking the ball. He's not running over and kicking the ball away when somebody's about to kick. This is literally a ball kicked at him, and he pushes it off to the side. Am I wrong, or was that what happened? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All I'm saying is this was a moment where the referee gets to use their common sense. A lot of times with handballs, with penalties, with fucking all this shit, you are not allowed to use common sense. This was a moment to use common sense and go, was that an actual yellow card offense? And to me, that's where you run up to him and you go, Deck, you fucking retard. You know I can give you a second yellow for that. I'm not gonna because it was stupid and you barely touched it. But Deck, you know you can get sent off for that. And he goes, oh, fuck, you're right. My bad. Let's keep playing football. But this was him going, I have no other choice. I have no other choice. I have no other choice. I have to give you the fucking second your ass. I have no other fucking choice. Like the twat that he is. Meanwhile, at the end of the match, Bukayo Saka belts a ball in the like as hard as he can just to get the referee to give him a yellow, and he doesn't. And Bukayo Saka goes, see what I did there? At the end of the game, I kicked the ball as far as I could, and they didn't give me a yellow card, which means it's not always a yellow card. So that referee had the option. He had the choice.
Sure.
And he decided that that was it. 2 minutes into the second half.
Okay.
Of week
Fair enough.
3 in the Premier League.
And I would like to add, the same way that Declan Rice on a yellow made the decision to do what he did, knowing full
was
well
what? Which
he
was
ran.
what, Mark? Which was what?
He prevented and deliberately prevented a
Did
free
he?
kick.
Did he?
Yeah.
The ball came at him.
Let me tell you something. And
The ball came
folks,
at him and hit
folks,
his foot.
This is where
The
I
ball
told
was
you
kicked.
that it's going to get a little hot.
Mark,
If
the ball
if Wolves
at
did
his
that
foot.
on the free kick that Saka scored the second goal against Arsenal against Wolves, if Wolves had done that, you would have screamed for his head. But instead, in this particular
No,
case,
Mark, 'cause
it's
it wouldn't have
Declan
mattered.
Rice who's on
It
a
wouldn't have
yellow,
mattered.
looks over his shoulder and does something cheeky and doesn't get away with it. And it's unfortunate. But as captain, you cannot.
Mark, he looked over his shoulder. He looked over his shoulder, Mark.
If you say that the referee made this decision, Declan Rice made this a decision as well. And he
Do you
got
see the
caught.
kick that he did? You saw the kick of the ball. You saw the kick of the ball, Mark.
You do see the kick of the ball.
No, I'm asking you. Did you see the kick of the ball?
Okay, was I at the stadium?
No, I'm asking you.
No.
In the replays,
Did I
and
watch?
everything.
Did I watch
in
the
the
game?
replays and everything?
Did I watch
Yes,
the game
yes.
live?
Did you see the kick of the
I
ball?
watched the game live, and I saw what happened.
And Mark,
Declan Rice,
Mark,
is
Mark,
in the
Mark,
wrong.
Mark. Just let me ask you: is it a fucking kick of the ball?
Yes.
He kicks the ball.
He kicks the ball.
Thank you.
He's looking at the ball
It's a
when he
kick
knocks
of the
it
ball.
out.
He kicks the ball. He kicks the
He
ball.
kicks the ball. He taps the ball away.
Yeah.
Taps the ball. He
Okay.
taps
It's
the ball, is
it's
what you just said.
It's a
Does he
kick.
do it
Kick.
with his foot?
It's a kick. It's a tap. It's
If
the
I
same
kick
thing.
you in the balls,
Are you going to
Super
hire
Bowl,
a Leicester
so a
lawyer
kick
to
is a
prove
tap.
that
A
it
kick
wasn't a
is a tap.
kick?
still kicking you in the balls?
A kick is a tap. A kick is
You're getting onto semantics now, Lolo.
Exactly.
Just admit
exactly.
it. Just admit
because
it.
What we've
admit
been
it. He's prevented a free kick from being taken because
The
he
ball
kicked
was
and tapped
rolling.
the ball away.
the ball is rolling. There is no free kick that is possible.
Guilty.
He still kicked the ball away.
Doesn't matter. There's no
No,
free
it does
kick that is
matter.
possible.
It does matter because he kicked the ball away.
Sure.
He prevented a quick restart to the match.
So let me ask you, why in the match, the 4 other times it happened, was there no foul called?
And again,
Because the
I will
world hates
report
Arsenal.
with if you have a bunch of children that says I did this, and your kid says, "Why can't I do it?" That's what I hear. Well,
That's what
everyone else
that's
is
what
doing
the
it.
Arsenal fans want
why
the
can't
answer
I
to
do
be,
it?
David.
Mark, it happened before that. It happened before
This is
that.
my point.
It's probably because
so
he
what you're
and
saying,
then
what
when
you're
you
saying
do
is
it,
it's
you don't
totally
get away
fine
with it, and you're going, "Well,
unless
everybody
they
else
call
got
it.
away with it."
Unless they call it. Unless they call it.
It's probably
also
because
It's
he
not a
dumped
foul
Veltman
unless
on the
they call
floor.
it.
I also think in the
Mark, I
examples that
never
are
want to
being
hear you
used-
mention another foul in my life because
Are you fucking kidding me?
you are literally
My
saying
squad
unless
voted
they
against
call it,
VAR,
it is not a
and
foul.
the rest of the league didn't.
You are saying unless they call it, it is not a foul.
Here's the thing.
It was a
No,
foul then.
you're fucking changing the
'Cause it got
subject.
called.
I'm asking
No,
you
I'm
a
not
straight
changing
question.
anything. I am
I'm
not
asking you a straight
changing-
question. Yes or no?
What is your question?
So, unless they call it, it's a foul. Correct?
Unless they call it, it's
So
a
if
foul.
they don't call a
That
foul,
makes no
it's not
sense.
a foul. Let me ask.
That makes no sense.
Unless they call a foul, it's not a foul.
Unless they call a foul, which is defined as a foul, if they
call
don't
a foul,
call it, it's not a foul.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a loaded trick question.
Yeah, because it's fucking wrong, Mark. Is the fucking
no.
It's fucking wrong.
What I'm hearing in this argument is Billy and Johnny and Danny got away with it. Why don't I? Which is the most
this is we did it
argument
first.
you could ever have. That is
Mark.
like what
Mark,
if your
okay,
kid
so
says
I
Googling,
shouldn't want
they
consistency.
did it, why can't
I shouldn't want
What would you
consistency.
say to them? Would you say
I should
fight on, kids? Or would you be
Cool,
like,
cool.
no, that's not
because
how it works.
Mark, a foul called on this should not be called a foul on this, right? They shouldn't be the same. This
It's the most
versus
low
this
stakes
shouldn't be
heated
the same.
argument I've ever heard.
You're
I
fucking
told
out of
you,
your
I
mind.
don't- the
This is all
watchers, the
bullshit.
viewers,
It's
I
all
told you
so,
this
bullshit.
is gonna
It's
get
so
hot.
heated for
I
something that
told
doesn't
you this
matter.
was gonna get hot.
No,
And
Mark, listen. Whatever happened, and that is the call, and I am fine with it. That is what fucking happened. When it
Right.
happened, watching it live, I was going, this is nonsense, but that's the call. That's what we're fucking dealing with. So the only thing is, I don't want to fucking hear from anybody else that X was a penalty and X was not a penalty and X was a foul and X was not a foul, because none of that fucking matters.
It does when it
Because
suits me.
all that matters is what the referee calls in the moment.
Right
That's
on.
all that matters.
So-
That's all that matters. And you know what happened? We got a fucking red card for something that happened there.
Absolutely
That didn't
fantastically.
happen 2 seconds
So,
earlier. Did not get a call.
inversely-
Sure. And I am fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm still gonna win the league before any of your fucking shitty teams ever fucking
No, you're
win the
not.
league.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Inversely.
It's not true. You've had your chance,
Breathe,
Lolo.
Elvis.
You've had your chance. You've had your
Inversely,
chance.
I would also
I'm gonna
like to
fuck
point
all of
out
your
if
mothers.
that
I'm
is
just
the
letting you
case,
know.
if that is the case,
Oh, come on
that
now.
you can never
You shit
complain
up the
about a
wall last
foul.
year, Lolo.
I'm going to say that you also, nobody in the history moving forward of Premier League and Champions League and all the other leagues that use VAR, none of you people can argue and complain about VAR because you were given a chance to vote against it, and the only team that did was Wolves.
Oh, blah,
So,
blah,
so,
blah.
so,
Fuck
so
off.
moving on throughout the season,
VAR has
not
nothing to
once,
do with this.
Lolo, do
Mark,
I want
Mark,
to hear
VAR
you
has nothing to do with this. It's a
about
second yellow.
VAR, because
That's
it's
brilliant.
Mark,
exactly what you are saying
Mark,
in regards
it's a
to
second
foul.
yellow. No VAR.
Tom,
No VAR.
Tom,
It's
that is
second
a
yellow.
rabbit being
I-
pulled
I-
out the hat, isn't it?
Your
No,
fucking
Jesus.
argument is
You have
bollocks.
just told us and our viewers that we cannot complain about it's a foul, it's not a foul. So we're not going to do that. But you, as in turn, cannot argue against VAR because
No.
you didn't vote
Mark.
against it.
Mark, there was zero VAR. Fuck off. You think you're smart right now and you're fucking retarded because there was zero VAR on this fucking thing. It was no VAR. The problem was it was a second yellow, so we couldn't use VAR. So use your VAR comments for something else.
I got notes, but I also got letters. I'm like Karnak,
Mark,
retarded.
It's Neville Chamberlain with his letter.
I thought
Fucking
you were
retarded,
going to
Mark.
say I've got to
Which
sign
I
up for
was
David
told
from
so
the
many times that
PGRL.
I can't use on this show.
No, you can use it all you want. You just have to back it up. And you know what? All the retards out there will say, no, he was being fucking retarded. He was being retarded. He was dumb.
Being so retarded. All right, folks. So
Brilliant.
I am absolutely
man.
so glad we had this time together.
No, we're not done here, you fucking bastard.
All right. Well, I have to have a before we head into stoppage time. I need a little bio break. So y'all talk amongst yourselves.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that. That was Director John. That's
brilliant.
hilarious, John, if you did that, but that wasn't me. I didn't cut him off.
That was Mark. Mark did. Mark,
He cut himself
he had to
off.
go to the
Mark
bathroom.
was halfway to the toilet when he was talking.
Let me bring him back in because now we'll hear him take a piss.
Oh, we don't need to do that. But thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here tonight. If you want to continue this heated debate, please click the link and you can join us backstage for a little bit. But I think we're about done. My daughters are now re-woken up and they're gonna go to bed. But we'll be here for a little bit while I talk shit to Mark. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, David.
No problem.
Anybody else? Thank you, John. All right. Peace
Thank
out,
you,
y'all.
John.
Good night,
Good
y'all.
night, everyone.
Cheers, guys.